Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. I'm your host Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And if you listen to this is our Once More We're Feeling series on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Today, Eddie, we're doing Season 6, Episode 14, Older
and Far Away.
Far Away. This episode first aired February 12th, 2002. Written by Drew Greenberg and directed by Michael Greshman. Over to you, Eddie.
This is a full spoiler podcast. I'm a huge fan, and Jared has never watched the series all the way through, and I'm trying to convince him it's worth his time.
Yes, and a Once of the Week episode, I guess, again.
Yeah.
This one, kind of, yeah.
It's
Self-contained story.
Well, not really, because it's kind of been building up to this issue with Dawn.
Oh, yes, yeah. Dawn. That's right, we got a Dawn episode.
Yeah, so it is a Dawn-centric episode. It's a Buffy birthday episode.
Those never usually go well, do they?
Yeah, they don't go well. Like, I'll just jog your memory. Her first birthday episode was... And, yeah, they normally happen around the episode 12 or 13. They normally
and this is 14, so, yeah, mid-season, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, the first one that we got was in Season 2 with Innocence. That didn't end very well.
What happened into that one?
That's the one where Angel
turns
evil.
evil, yeah. All right, yeah, his first moment of happiness, yep.
Yep. In Season 3, we get the episode Helpless.
Is that when Angel goes to the other universe, dies?
No, Helpless is when Giles injects her with that serum and she loses her Slayer powers and they put her in that test.
Oh, yes, yep.
And then you've got the Season 4 episode, A New Man.
Yeah. You have to jog my memory on these ones. What happened on that one?
That's the one where Giles gets turned into a demon.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And in Season 5, you get the episode Blood Ties, and that's the one where Dawn finds out she's the key.
Okay, yeah.
And we get a little repeat of the get out.
Did they just reuse the same audio? She was able to hit that twice.
I think she might have been able to hit that twice.
Okay, yeah. Well done her, yeah.
Yeah. Again, they're using the trope of being trapped in one place.
Well, what's that trope on comedy shows where people are arguing, you have to be trapped in
they're trapped in an elevator.
Until they can sort their
trapped in a room, trapped in a bathroom.
I remember the show That's My Bush. No one's ever heard of this show, made by the South Park guys, and it was basically a parody of comedy shows, and they did the episode where all the characters kept getting stuck in the rooms when they were having arguments earlier and having to solve their problems to get out. Yeah,
the trapped in the house trope feels both sitcom-like and genuinely suspenseful, showing the show's range. This episode does definitely do a bit combines, comedy, horror, and emotional drama.
It did, yeah. I'd say, yeah, it ticked all those boxes for sure.
Very classic Buffy.
Yeah.
Now, I think what you were trying to get at before is this episode sort of feels like a bit of a filler episode.
Oh, slightly, I guess. Yeah.
See, I'd say it's not really a filler episode, but you know what it is. So I think we used to call these episodes the budget episode.
Okay, yeah, the budget episode, yeah.
So, but yeah, they changed it to the bottle episode. But yeah, it's like one setting, limited action.
Limited cast.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the main cast sort of there, but there's no extras or anything like that. It's all indoors on the set. And
the majority of the episode is all filmed in the house, basically.
We get one red shirt.
Yeah. Like there's one scene in the cemetery and then there's a scene at the school and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sometimes they can work really well.
Doctor
Who. The midnight episode, I think, of Doctor Who was a budget episode. I know you didn't like that one, but I was a fan of that one.
Yeah, because it's really claustrophobic. Like this episode is really claustrophobic.
It is, yeah, it is.
Like it does actually amplify the tension and makes you feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, it actually felt like they're really going to struggle to get out. There was no way.
And it was also that thing where the characters have no space. All of their issues kind of have to get resolved because they can't have physical space away from each other. So
they could go in the other room, they could go upstairs or something. Or, no, yeah.
But they can't really get away from their issues, is what I'm trying to say. So
okay, fair enough.
They sort of have to work things out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the character, well, there's sort of that character space to bounce off each other in revealing ways. And we see like the strain, there's a few strained relationships in there. There's awkward connections. And
I guess there is. Yeah.
in other words, it's not a filler episode. It's the kind of episode where the real drama is underneath the monster of the week. So it's more about, emotional claustrophobia as well as physical. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let me do the summary and we'll get back to it.
Okay.
Buffy leaves Dawn at home to go hunt a demon. At the cemetery, she defeats a demon using its own sword, unaware it's trapped inside the blade. Back home, the Scoobies chat about Buffy's upcoming birthday. Willow agrees to invite Tara, a bit too eagerly, and Dawn asks someone to help her shop for a gift, but ends up going alone. That night, she returns with a stolen leather jacket. At school, Dawn meets with the guidance counsellor, Hallie, and wishes people would stop leaving her. Meanwhile, Buffy preps for the party, inviting co-worker Sophie, while Xander and Anya try to set up Buffy with one of Xander's work colleagues, Richard. Spike crashes the party with Clem. As the party continues, Buffy opens her presents. Willow gifts a back massager, and Dawn gives Buffy a stolen jacket which still has the security tag on it. Xander and Anya give Buffy a customs-made weapons chest. Outside the house, Hallie is revealed as Anya's old friend, the vengeance demon, Halfrek. She grants Dawn's wish. As the party continues through the night, everyone makes excuses to stay longer and no one leaves. The next morning, the gang realises they're all mysteriously trapped inside the house. Despite wanting to leave, no one can. As frustration builds, suspicion falls on Dawn, with some assuming she used magic to keep everyone there. Hurt by the accusation, Dawn insists she's innocent. Tara attempts a release spell to break the enchantment, but it unintentionally unleashes the demon that Buffy had unknowingly imprisoned in the sword. The demon attacks and injures Richard before vanishing into the walls. Anxiety spreads, especially for Anya, who begins to panic in the confined space. Willow, urged to use magic for the situation, struggles but ultimately refuses, with Tara firmly supporting her. Anya, fully convinced that Dawn is responsible, ransacks her room and uncovers a hidden stash of stolen items. Anya recognises some of the items are from the magic box. Buffy also clicks that the jacket she gifted Buffy is stolen. Buffy and Dawn have a heart-to-heart, and Dawn reveals that she spoke to a guidance counsellor at the school. Buffy asks if she may have made any wishes and admits that she did. Putting the pieces together, Anya realises her old vengeance demon Halfrek is behind the curse. She summons her, but before she can get any answers, the demon strikes again. Buffy manages to trap the demon back inside the sword and destroys it. When confronted, Halfrek explains that the curse was her twisted way of responding to Dawn's unspoken wish that people would stop leaving her. The spell was meant to force the group to confront their emotional distance they've created. However, Halfrek becomes caught in her own trap and is forced to lift the curse. Once freed, the gang begins to leave. Tara and Willow share a quiet moment, with Tara expressing pride for Willow's resistance of magic, but reminding her that the temptation will keep returning. As the house empties, Buffy chooses to stay behind with Dawn, finally giving the attention she's long been craving. The end.
Well, okay. I'll discuss. One of the themes of this episode, I guess, would probably be isolation in a crowd. Episode smartly plays on the idea of being surrounded by people but still feeling alone, a shared theme for many characters this season.
Is she just being a whiny bitch? I mean, people leaving her. I mean, Buffy died for her. Literally died for her.
Maybe the kid just needs fucking to see a counsellor. Like she
Well,
has
that went well last time.
an act, but they haven't. It's definitely a sign of the times. But if you lost your parents at a young age, you would be going to see a grief counsellor.
Of course,
of some kind.
She's definitely not getting that type of support, is she?
No. So she's getting absolutely no psychological support. Everyone, her dad's... You've also got to remember her dad's completely abandoned her. Giles flew back. Her other father figure was also Giles.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone back. He's abandoned her. Buffy is detached and depressed and wishing she was dead. Like, how are you supposed to take that? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
you know, the fact that you are also that she perhaps feels like she's a burden on Buffy.
I suppose we get the resolution of her kleptomaniac compulsiveness as well has
Yeah.
finally been addressed.
Yeah.
So we've seen her stealing all these little trinkets and stuff from the magic shop for quite some time now.
Yeah.
So now it's all come to a head. That's all happened.
Yeah, we finally, you know, this has been building up for a while since, was it after? Yeah, so I think it was last season. I think it kind of started a little bit.
Hmm.
So, but you know, the kleptomania, it was a cry for help. No one was really listening, unfortunately. No one actually noticed.
No one noticed, yeah. Was there any mention from Anya about things going missing? Had she said anything?
I think she had said something. Yeah. Like, but it's one of those off the cuff sort of
In the background,
kind of comments. And the fact that even in Once More with Feeling, like it was her stealing from the magic shop, that they started blaming her, like that they thought she was the one that cast the spell.
Oh, because they thought she was stealing stuff.
Yeah, but she was like, I found it on the floor at the magic shop, but she'd obviously stolen it from the magic shop, but no one ever questioned that.
That was kind of missed, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this how you say thank you?
Yes, so they are all finally being held accountable as well, that perhaps Dawn isn't being looked after properly.
Maybe she should go to be taken by child services, maybe. Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe it's not such a bad idea. Maybe she might get some grief counselling.
Well, she won't have demons flying out of the fucking walls, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Send her to Hogwarts. Nothing ever bad happens there. That's a nice safe school.
Nice safe school. Send her off to boarding school or something. Not like Buffy can afford it, but yeah. Where's Buffy's dad at this point? Like, honestly,
hanging out with the Watchers Council, I'd imagine.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll quickly talk about the meaning of the name of the episode, Older and Far Away.
Yes. What is the meaning of that?
It reflects Dawn's emotional state, feeling abandoned, older than her years and disconnected from those around her.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Can I mention a few things? The demon, when he started swinging the sword around in the house,
Yeah.
you could see the rubber sword flopping around.
Yeah.
I thought that looked pretty funny. Because he's like, ah! And it's like...
Yeah, you also get Buffy going shiny.
Shiny at the start.
Ooh, shiny. That becomes a very famous Buffy kind of quote is, ooh, shiny. Gets reused in Firefly as well.
I was thinking, as you said it before, I've just heard that before. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit of, what do you call it? Joss speak, is it? Yeah.
The shiny. Ooh, shiny.
Ways they could have got out of the house. Can we talk about this?
I already told you the phones didn't work. And you were like, why couldn't they just call the phone?
I don't talk like that. I don't know. Could I have thrown a brick out the window maybe?
Well, that was the whole thing, that the way that the spell worked was that you could not physically do anything to leave the house.
So if you did anything that would help with the escape of the house, you couldn't do that. So, I mean, if you threw a rock...
Where are you getting a rock, Jared?
Well, that's be a rock. A shoe, maybe, or a chair. Throw a chair at the window, and then like call to someone in the street, and then like just tell them to open the door.
But you wouldn't. The spell would have stopped you from being able to.
I'm just asking them to open the door. I'm not trying to get out. And then once the door's open, they get like a lasso, and like you could throw a lasso on them, and then you could just rope them out. Could that? Yeah, that could have worked.
That would not work.
Would the spell have like prevented the rope from going in, maybe, or
the spell, like you wouldn't have been able to break the window?
What if there was a way, like you say, we're going to throw it at Buffy, and then she moves out the way, then it hits the window? Oh, that could work, couldn't it?
I doubt it.
No,
I just have a feeling that nothing that they tried.
I just would have liked to give some show like the helplessness that they really can't get out, other than they physically can't. Incapable of getting out, that there's when they think of a way to get out that they can't do it because they're thinking of a way to get out. Like I would have liked if they explored that a little better in the lore. Just for me.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily about the curse, this episode. It was meant to be more about Dawn feeling.
Yeah, I get that. I
Yeah.
just like when there's something happen, I just like to see the limits tested on like what you can and can't
Yeah.
do. I just like to see how you do that. You know, I'm not plot hole searching. Although I would mention, shouldn't Spike have lit up in flames because there's a lot of sunlight coming into that room.
A lot of sunlight coming into that room.
You see him, he's just standing there. It's like,
Just only direct sunlight, Jared. Only direct.
yeah, I don't know. But it looked pretty-
Indirect sunlight does nothing.
yeah, I don't know. It looked pretty direct though. Mate, guess had really bright lights in there maybe.
I think it's time for you to go.
Yeah, well, can. Daylight.
Okay, I'll go.
I'll get the door.
Fine.
Fine.
They also jump very quickly to blame Dawn.
As they should.
Well, why? Like, why should they? Like, look, Dawn does sort of go, oh, you know what? She sort of says some stupid stuff, like, oh, everyone's just dying to get away from me, which does spark up their suspicions. But like, both Xander and Willow did world altering spells. Xander had once more with feeling. Willow did the tabula rasa. You know, the tabula rasa spell that went awry. Also had the spell that she'd done in Wrecked as well, that went awry. You also had, and you have to also remember, Willow did that I will it so spell, which is very similar to this one, where she accidentally cursed all her friends.
I mean, she got scolded for that too, didn't she? I mean, and they suspected her.
Yeah,
they didn't
suspect her at all in this.
Well, yeah. Are they? Yeah, no, they didn't. No.
They didn't suspect her at all. But then we can talk about the fact that Willow was hiding a stash.
It's like, you know, when you quit smoking cigarettes, you want to just keep that pack there to remind you that you're not going to smoke it.
Yeah. You've quit smoking, but you keep a stash of cigarettes just for emergencies.
Yeah. In Wolf of Wall Street, when Jordan Belfort has a big fight with his wife and he just rips open the pillow and just snorts this big handful of coke like a wild animal. He had it just for that moment when he lost his shit that he could just go in there and just inhale it. So you just need that secret stash hiding just in case.
Well, is it also like all addicts will have like a secret stash? Like they won't ever fully...
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe. But anyway.
See, I'm not like that. I just would smoke it or whatever, you know. I don't keep stashes around. I just smash it, you know. I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Smash it off hot.
Now, it's also hinted that Spike and Helfrich know each other.
Yeah, I noticed when she was human, she looked very effulgent.
Effulgent, yes.
Very effulgent, yes.
So, yes, same actress played Cecilia.
Is this ever brought up in the show that that's the same character?
This is the only time it's brought up.
I did read that Joss claimed that they actually are the same character.
Yeah.
So that...
Well, there's a lot of debate within the community about Helfrich and Spike, whether was she already a vengeance demon at the time?
Oh,
and she was working a job when
she met
when William fell in love with her, because I think she calls him William.
Well, that's the thing. She calls him William. Like, do you think she'd remember a Mark's name from 200 years ago?
Yeah, but then they both kind of look at each other, and then are just like, oh no, no, like they kind of deny knowing each other. Like there's sort of this glimmer of recognition.
Was only a few people would know his name was William, though, isn't there?
Oh no, everyone knows his name's William.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
like he's known as William the Bloody.
Oh, William. Oh, that's right.
Because he's bloody
awful. Bloody
awful poetry. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was sort of that thing where people are still debating whether was she already a vengeance demon or does she become a vengeance demon after that?
If I was to have a guess, I'd say after, because she knew his name was William. Like, she remembered him when he was human, and to me that means like she would have loved him, or she remembered him. If he was just another mark for her vengeance demon from 200 years ago, like, would she really remember that guy? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
From 200 years ago?
I don't know.
I'd say no. I'd say she was human.
Yeah.
If I'm going to pick a side, I'll pick that side.
Yeah. And she worked very different to Anyanka. So apparently scorning men was more Anya's thing, not
Not a general rule of demons.
Yeah, it's not a general vengeance demon, or as she gets a bit woke here and says,
It wasn't vengeance demon. It was a
we prefer justice demon
Justice
over
demon,
vengeance
yes.
demon, and that punishing men was Anyanka's thing.
that's just what she does. Yeah.
And she's a bit more well-rounded. But
Mm.
yeah, she more focuses on the bad parents because the children need her. Because somebody's got to think of the children.
Oh, daddy issues, huh?
Yes. Well, yeah, it was funny. Anya does the little mummy
Cough.
issue or daddy issues under her breath.
Daddy issues.
And I actually called it when Dawn was with the counselor and she said, "Oh, I wish," and I turned to you, I'm like, "Done!" As soon as she said it, I'm like, "Oh, she's a demon."
It takes them a long time to work out that there's a curse. Like I probably would have figured it out when they were trying to do the beer run and no one
went and got it.
no one went and got the beer. I would have I would have been losing it by that stage. Like, why aren't you getting up and getting? You just said you'd go get the beer, and you're not getting up and getting the beer.
I know, it's a party, for Christ's sake. We need beer. Well, it's funny with the so what was the episode that we first met Anya and she did the
Wish.
The Wish, yeah. So the similarities between this episode and the episode Wish was the scene when she calls Helfrich, and because she says, "Oh, only she's the only person who can undo the spell." Yeah. Helfrich appears, and then she's immediately stabbed by the demon.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's almost that sort of point in the episode The Wish when Cordelia creates this parallel universe, and then she dies.
Yeah.
And so you kind of think, oh, fuck, they're not going to realize that they can undo this or break this spell or anything like that. And so they do a nice little fake out where you kind of like, oh, well, that sucks. That means they're absolutely fucked now. And then she's like, gets up. Oh, no, I'm fine. It's just a sword.
Yeah.
I'm a demon, But I thought, oh, even, it was a demon weapon, though. Like maybe a demon weapon can kill a demon. Sure. Buffy's killed a demon with stabbing it with a sword before, is she not? No? Or is it always got to take the head off?
I think it's just different with...
It depends on the demon.
Yeah, it depends on the demon. I think you can't really... I think vengeance demons are a bit... It does go more into it in, I think, season 7. Mm-hmm. You get an episode fully based around Anya.
Okay, we get more of the lore of demons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but a nice... Is that kind of a parallel between those two episodes?
Yeah,
where you had that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Again, Tara's the only adult in the room.
Again.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was putting Spike in his place. Pretty much Anya starts losing her shit. She starts verbally attacking Willow. And like it did feel like Anya had like this real deep-seated anger towards Willow.
Yeah, she was really showing
her magic use.
I know, the inner hatred is sort of coming out a little bit. Like she was getting quite snarky with everyone.
Yeah.
Like I think that claustrophobia was really getting to her.
Yeah.
A little bit. And she was, starting to lash out at people.
Yeah.
Starting to see her
and she was the most
dark side.
And she was, probably the most affected by it. Yeah, and she just absolutely starts losing it. But yeah, when she starts on Willow's case, but was she in the right to do that? Because they are, was she thinking down the right path that perhaps, Willow is someone that could get us out of this because she is a powerful witch and she's just choosing not to?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, things were getting pretty dire at that stage. There was sort of no answer. They had no ideas or any sort of comprehension of what was going on. So, and she probably seemed their best avenue to sort of explore how it was going on and how to undo it. That was probably their only option at that point until they worked out who it was, and she was able just to call her literally.
Yeah.
Without a phone.
Yep.
You just summon a demon. Just call their name.
Yep.
I would have thought it would at least be something a little, I don't know, write the name in the mirror backwards and say it 3 times or something to summon her. Not just Helfrich, and bang. Yeah, what?
Well, she knew that Helfrich was still in town, so it was probably easy to call her. I don't know. Giles had to do that weird ritual though when he called for Anyanka though in the wish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, but you also have Tara putting Spike in his place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Spike works out that Tara knows about
Yeah, they
him
have
and
that little
Buffy.
moment
Yeah,
in the
they have a
hallway.
little-
Yeah.
They have a little moment where
I think she kind of walks in on him like,
yeah, she walks in on him and he's got a muscle he says a muscle cramp. She's like, "Oh, what, a muscle cramp in your pants?" It's like, yeah, it's a thing. And then she tells him to put ice on it later on.
yeah, that'll make it go down. that'll put the swelling down for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, leading into what I was next going to talk about is the Buffy and Spike dynamic in this episode. Yeah, so Spike crashes the party pretty much, comes in uninvited with Clem. And there's sort of this weird thing where Buffy is, she still has that real internal conflict about Spike. And this episode is, she even says, how did I ever think that you could play nicely with my friends? Like, how could you, can you get along in
a group of my friends?
Well,
he kind of already has before, and he's been hanging around with them for a couple of seasons now. So.
Yeah. But yeah, she still hasn't told like Willow or Xander about what's been going on with Spike.
Or a sister.
Yeah, or a sister. Yeah, she hasn't said anything about her.
She's ashamed.
Yeah. As I said, she's still got that conflict. But this almost felt like she was almost a test to see whether she could tell Xander and Willow about Spike.
No.
But yeah, Xander would Xander would absolutely lose his shit.
Yeah.
If he found out. Yeah.
Probably Willow wouldn't be too happy, but I think she'd be okay with it. So I think probably Xander's a big one.
Yeah.
And Anya would just be like, okay.
Yeah. Anya wouldn't give a shit. Xander's the one that has those real issues with vampires.
But then again, and Giles, I think that's probably the big one too, actually.
Yeah, I don't even think Giles would care that much, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think...
But in saying that, Spike fucking saved Xander's life in this. Like, Spike actively tries to save Xander in this episode.
Which he's done before anyway, I think.
He's done it multiple times. And it is that thing, it doesn't matter how many times Spike would save Xander's life. Xander is just going to blindly hate him.
Yeah, always.
Always.
So, no, she can't tell anyone about Sleeping Gary. I mean, was like a little Sleeping Gary at the moment in there. Which is like, no.
Not in the house.
Not in the house.
Hey, we agreed. Never in the house.
I think I already said that Hallie's appearance as the guidance counselor was probably exactly what Bloody Dawn needed.
Just next time we have a human one would be, probably a little more proactive, I think.
Well, it was just watching Hallie have that, look of, actual empathy on her face.
Yeah.
When
she's saying she could sense it from
miles
away, yeah.
Could feel
they
her
never
screaming
noticed.
out. So definitely suffering from a bit of emotional neglect. Okay, Jared, have you seen this episode before?
No, I haven't seen this episode, no.
And did you go down any rabbit holes?
Actually, I did go down a little rabbit hole. Back to literature.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about?
No idea.
Okay, so the opening scene where Dawn's in class, they're talking about a book, and she mentioned about the guy living in Shanghai. The guy she was talking about was J.G. Ballard. Is a British author, and his works include Empire of the Sun, which was a sort of autobiography. I don't know if you've ever seen the film by Spielberg. It's funny, he's made so many films, and it's a really good movie, but when you think of Spielberg, you think of like E.T., Jurassic Park, or those type of films, Schindler's List. But, this is sort of one. It's a really good film. It was probably at the time, but I kind of feel like it's gone under the radar a little bit.
Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
The one with Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I could not tell you the plot of that movie.
Yeah, it's funny. I never knew till recent or sometime later that was Christian Bale, and this is like after
He's
American Psycho.
kid.
Yeah, he's basically a young teenager. It wasn't until years later because I absolutely loved the film, and I realised that he was in that movie. sort of based on his upbringing. He was born in Shanghai, and was there during the occupation of the Japanese soldiers and had to live in internment camps. Probably wasn't as hard as it was in the film, but it was semi-autobiographical. Other famous works was a book called Crash, which was adapted into a Cronenberg film in the 90s. Do you remember that movie, Crash? No. Never heard of it?
No.
People getting aroused from car crashes. You know what? I'd never seen it, but I remember everyone talking about it. So it's this weird movie where like people are like sexually aroused by car crashes. This was written in like the 60s though, this book, or the 70s I should say.
Okay.
An interesting author to say. A few of his films were converted to films. I think there was another one, I can't remember what it was, but they're probably the two most famous ones. A lot of his films were sort of future dystopian, so I think he kind of, let's say he invented that sort of genre of sci-fi, but it's something he did like in the 60s, and one of his books was about a world where, a post-apocalyptic world where climate change had destroyed the Earth. Yeah, he wrote this like a long, he's sort of dubbed a futurologist as well. Some of his works have sort of have been famous for. He did a lot of short stories as well. One famous one was a short story written in 1968 titled "Why I Want to Fuck Ronald Reagan."
Okay. All right.
I'm not sure what to say about that, but yeah, it was quite controversial at the time. Ronald Reagan was a governor at that stage. He was already into politics. I think he'd actually run for the primary Republican vote, but lost to Nixon, so biding his time before he would become president. Sadly, Ballard passed away in 2009, the age of 78. But yeah, quite an extensive sort of catalogue of books to read. Lots of science fiction, so been stated as like a pioneer of early sci-fi from the 60s. So, so it was just really interesting reading about him. Crash is apparently, quite an interesting book to read. Like I said, I never saw the film, but it was one of those things where everyone was talking about it. People like getting off on car crashes, which is just such a weird concept to write about. Even to this day, to think of it like that. But then again, there's furries these days, so people are into anything. So, no offense to the furries, but fuck the furries.
What do you got against furries? You don't even know if any furries like. Getting upset about something that's very, very minor.
Just everyone hates the furries. Everyone hates the furries. I don't know why.
Do they? I just don't care. You don't have to kink shame someone.
No, not kink shaming them. No, it's just.
Yes, you are. It's exactly what you're doing.
It's just too easy. Everyone just loves shitting on the furries for some reason. So yeah.
Did you say fairies or furries?
Furries. I did say furries. Sorry, I meant furries. Furries.
Jesus, you're trying to get yourself cancelled, aren't you?
I didn't say anything about the fairies. Fairies are great. And so that was my rabbit hole, Eddie. Let's wrap it up there.
Yeah. I think we can wrap that up.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What, you're going to insert some shovel sounds into that? Keep digging yourself in deeper?
Oh dear. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible.
All right. Jared, which character was your favourite?
Richard, the red shirt.
The red shirt, Richard.
He was actually wearing a red shirt. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Do we see Richard ever again?
We will never see him ever again. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. Fuck. Anya has this weird competition in her own head. So she gets Xander to invite Richard, and then Buffy invites her friend from work. And Anya gets slightly annoyed by the fact that Buffy has invited a friend. And then she's like, our friend is better. Like it's just this very weird. Like, why are you getting?
Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah, like
why are you
competitive
getting,
on who's the cooler person you can invite to the party.
Why are you getting all competitive over Buffy having another friend? Like that is obviously there to make up numbers.
Yes, but poor Richard got stabbed, and I think they eventually took him to the hospital. There seemed to be no urgency on that. Like when they got out,
No.
they're kind of like, all right, cool. You know, there's a guy dying upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We should probably do something about that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, my favourite character in this, I'm going to go with Hallie or Helfrich
yeah.
or Cecilia. All of the above. Yeah.
She's very, what is she, Eddie?
Effulgent.
She's very effulgent, yes.
Effulgent. Which character do you love to hate in this episode?
I have to
Anya.
say it. No, it was Dawn.
Inspired by
Dawn.
your beauty.
I went with
effulgent.
Anya because she is so fucking nasty in this episode.
Yeah, she is.
She's really nasty and very obnoxious. LOL moment?
I thought Halfrek trying to leave, and then suddenly realised that, oh shit, I can't.
Get out, get out!
Like, well, he checkmated herself, where it's like, oh, I guess I have to undo the curse then. 'Cause,
Yeah.
she cursed herself. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, I went with Anya's patronising Dawn with a yes, you do. Like Dawn's,
Yeah, that was weird,
Dawn's
wasn't
like
it?
going, you do know I know about this stuff, and she's like, yes, you know I'm in high school, right? And she's like,
You
yes,
sure
you are.
are.
Yes, you are. And pats her on the head.
She's good with her human speak.
She human speak good. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Favorite fight scene?
Well, this fight scene with the monster was pretty cool, like pretty original, like it disappearing in
Yeah,
the walls and
The
popping out.
melting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
And the
pretty-
way that Buffy kills it in the end, stabbing the wall as
Mm.
after it's melted into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with the killing the melty demon fight scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot. Well, again, there weren't a lot of fight scenes.
Just
in
those two, really. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite scene.
I did like Dawn finally getting caught and scorned by everyone for what she's been doing. I thought, yes, finally some retribution for all your silly behaviour. I know it was a cry for help, but yeah,
A reaction to the way that she'd been treated. More like it. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I went with Halfrek doing her dramatic speech and then trying to leave and realizing that she's stuck. And having going, it's like Anya doing the whole, it's the curse, Hallie.
Well, I guess it kind of almost was a laugh out loud moment when she says, "Oh, the only person who's going to do this is Halfrek. Halfrek, come here. Yes, I'm dead." You know, like shit.
Yeah, but Anya knew how to. But if you broke the locket, like if you break that
That's
necklace-
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite scene?
Guess the get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, it's a full repeat of last season's birthday episode, Blood Ties, where she does the exact same. Get out. Yep. Okay, favourite quote?
It comes from Spike.
Oh, fuck, we're going to have the same one.
They all
aren't
come
we?
from Spike, don't they? I had a muscle cramp. Buffy was helping. A muscle cramp in your pants? What? It's a thing. I think our son even cracked up laughing at that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I had this. I had one from Spike as well. It was that. So, you ever think about not celebrating your birthday just to try it? I mean, funnily enough, next season we don't get a birthday episode.
All right. Learn her lesson.
Yep. All right. Who gets the wooden spoon? I have a bit of a tie for this one.
Well, I've given it to Dawn, but I'm not quite convinced. No, I'll stick with Dawn. Yeah.
Well, I've got a tie between Dawn and Halfrek because Halfrek gets caught in her own spell,
Yeah.
and Dawn should know better than making wishes to strangers.
Yeah, I guess.
Considering like Anya's an ex-vengeance demon, she would be very familiar with the story about how Anya used to
Trick people into
trick
doing.
people into
Yeah. I mean,
making
it's
wishes.
something you say nonchalantly all the time. Oh, I wish I could bloody get to work on time. Or, I wish I could get up Oh, I wish that when you you just say it all the time, and it's not even, just part of your vocabulary. I wish that dishwasher would wash the dishes better.
Maybe I don't do it as much as I don't really go around wishing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish Melbourne would stop losing.
All right. Who's the MVP of the episode?
Well, I mean, she wasn't
Again-
the best. But
Again, I've got a bit of a tie for this one.
yeah, well, so I went with Anya because she worked it out, even though she's being
Well,
so.
but she didn't work it out on her own. Buffy worked it out. So Buffy worked out that it was a vengeance demon. Anya worked out which vengeance demon it was.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a team effort.
Yeah. So that's why I've got a split between Buffy and Anya because Anya's behavior was still pretty.
Yeah,
fucking
so I
awful.
know I think you're right. And Buffy, disposed of the demon. So I think Buffy.
No, I think it's a split.
It's a tie.
It's a
Okay,
tie.
It's a
It's a tie.
All right.
They both get it this week.
Okay.
All right. What do you rate the episode out of 10 using something from the episode?
I gave it 5 shiny swords.
Fuck's sake, that's exactly the same rating I gave it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
5?
5 shiny swords, literally.
I did write shimmering, but it wasn't really shimmering. It was shiny.
It was shiny, and they say the whole point is that they say that Buffy goes, "Ooh, shiny."
Yeah. Definitely shiny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just wrap it up then, eh? Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening to us tonight. We are Nerd Subculture. My name is Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And if you want to hear more or do more, Eddie, what can you do?
You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads. Just search Nerd Subculture Podcast. We're a proudly independent podcast, so if you like what you like, so if you like what we do, show us some love. Share with your friends, drop a comment, or rate the episode. Every little bit helps. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. All right, and till next week, we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.
Grown embodiment, inspired by your beauty, effulgent. Effulgent.